We open to a line of soldiers, in deep blue, marching to their destination. A cart has been cleared of its supplies, and 2 soldiers sit side by side, a third person. His eyes are closed, and breathing is steady, feigning sleep. In his head, Jamie Caladeth, captured by a group of Everin knights, tries to think. He had a gag over his mouth, so most of his options were cut off, and both his hands and feet were bound. They had put a blindfold on him, too. Extra cautious, he noted. He could use his abilities to blind them. Burn them, even. With or without his senses, but he had nowhere to run to, and nowhere to know where they were all positioned. Besides, they'd underestimated these people once, and he couldn't afford to make the same mistake twice. These weren't like the normal blinds. They saw their powers, reacted to them with ease and practice. Strange, crystalline blue weapons sucking up most of the physical effects of their powers with ease. In any case, there wasn't a good opportunity to escape, not unless he turned his powers up to 11. And he was even less comfortable with that option. He didn't want to kill anyone. So he sat back to wait, hoping that a better opportunity would present itself. Well, he went over different things he knew in his head. 1. The Knights, part of something called the Order of Steel, worked for someone under the title Emperor Skycaller, i.e., one could assume he was in an empire of some sort. 2. The Knights thought they would be rewarded for his capture, called him a Kingmaker, well, him and the rest of the group. But they didn't know for sure. These weren't explicit orders. Maybe that could be used? 3. All were armed with weapons that absorbed abilities, attracted and ate them. 1 or more had abilities themselves, able to summon strong wings and create ice through a series of runes. It felt wrong, though. Hollow and gray where others' abilities were tapestries of color and light. The information he had was basic, unhelpful due to the knight's caution or missing key facts that could have helped piece together the puzzle, as it were. He was stuck, trapped. He hated the feeling, and the pit of black anger that boiled in his stomach as he thought of why he was here. Abandoned by the others after Sawyer was practically impaled on a spear of ice, and Hazel had drawn him back from the fight. His power was the only one that let him physically join the conflict, so he was holding the line. He didn't notice the others preparing to flee. Leo had fired a shot from a damned gun. It had missed him by a hair, clipping his shoulder, sending him tumbling off his rhythm. Felix had tried to pull him back. Good kid, he supposed, but it was a little too late. He was the sacrificial lamb so the others could get away. He bit the inside of his cheek until he could taste blood. No use thinking about that now. If it was him or the rest of them, and there really was nothing to be done about it, he could be glad most of them got away unharmed. He sighed silently at his thoughts and settled in to wait, hoping perhaps an opportunity to escape would present itself soon. Hello, and welcome back to City of Mist Kingmakers. As always, I am your MC, Ashley, and these are my players.
I'm Cassidy. I'm playing Maddie, the Rift of Typhon.
Tele, and I am playing Adalaie Ponteva, Rift of Nemesis.
Hello, I am Sonya. I am playing Emma Bush, the Rift of Athena.
Hello, I am Juno. I am playing Jane, the Rift of Hera.
Hello, I'm Simon. I'm playing Aron, whose Rift is King David.
Hello, I'm Celina, and I'm playing as Rift of Hades, Mara Galanis.
And with that, let's jump right into it. Last time on Kingmakers, you were all flung into another world entirely and separated from the group at large. You found shelter with court member Holy Sister Levithia, the court church for the night. So as we sort of come to, what did you spend your night doing? Did you immediately fall to deep sleep?
Mattias doesn't need to sleep, so he sat there next to Ezekiel the whole night.
Jane probably waited up, talking to Emma about the facts she learned from Kai in the library.
Adalaie just fell asleep.
Continue talking.
Then why don't we run through
that
night. Conversation real quick, Emma and Jane?
He said that she found something she wasn't supposed to find. I could tell he was hiding something, and I mean, family's important. It's just, it seems like the way he reacted wasn't as a father should.
I agree. Like, that's not normal. Did you see, like, stuff they had on them? It looked like they were running away.
It did. I thought he would tell me something.
Fearing for their life. Well, now we can't ask them because they're somewhere else. I hope they're safe.
And she was the only one who seemed to know anything. Kai didn't seem to disagree with her saying we were meant to be here.
Maybe when they were planning to run away, they knew that they were going to end up here.
Maybe
he
they
didn't
did.
look as surprised.
I wonder if the artifact or object they may found had been connected to this world or something of that sort.
Yeah, maybe it told Alyssa that the artifact, maybe it was her powers. Maybe it was just the artifact that they found that told them that we're going to arrive here as Kingmakers. I can't believe we have to choose who becomes the next ruler.
I can't either, and even if we choose, it can't be one of us and we can't go home.
We don't even know anything about this world. How would we decide such a tremendous thing?
And why is it all of us that were picked as the Kingmakers? What have we done in our lives?
Why us?
And Maddie butted in at this point. He's just gonna lean forward from where he's sitting across the room. Have you guys I'm about as smart as a bag of bricks. But you noticed the type of people that were on the bus, right?
People from the college?
Yeah.
Around the college? Except for that one kid.
That is not what I meant.
The one librarian with the shifting tattoo?
There's the librarian. There was Mary Kate. I'm going to gesture to myself that's glowing.
Well, there are others. We can't be the only ones.
And
Why
you guys
us?
could all see the fact that I was glowing. So all of you are also magical story peoples, like me.
That is one way
I
to
feel like
phrase
at this point there's no point in hiding it.
You can't. When you react to me, I know that you know. And everyone knows that I am one, so...
Pretty clear.
Yeah, but it was the type of people that were on that bus with us. Maybe that has something to do with it.
But there are probably other people like us who weren't on that bus.
Yeah, like your son. He doesn't, right?
Yeah. I have a feeling
the bus driver disappeared.
Not supposed to happen. I think it was maybe because I was holding him.
Maybe.
Oh my
the
God.
bus driver.
What if he's a rift? I don't think he is. Oh my God, that'd be horrible.
What happened to the bus driver, though? Was he not like us? Maybe that's why he didn't come to this world.
Did you guys see the bus driver after we crashed?
No. He wasn't anywhere in sight, and I don't think we all collectively blacked out. So he must have just not come.
I mean, there is it felt like my memory skipped a little bit. Because or maybe that was just the whole that was probably just never mind. Forget I said that. That was the transportation thing.
Well, concerning your son and medicine, I happen to be very inept in that, not inept, very gifted in that field. So I think I will be able to protect him and keep him safe from bacterial sort of thing.
Look, I'm in nursing school. I'm not super concerned about the bacteria stuff. I was just startled that, we appeared to be in the Middle Ages and no one else went to Black Death like I did.
Well, that is
it's obvious there's magic here, so they probably have some way of preventing.
Well, yeah, they made that clear that they eradicated disease. Well, I'm mostly saying that this place can't be good for a 4-year-old.
It really can't.
I guess that just wasn't my perspective, as it was not my child I was caring for.
Yeah, I think I'm in a pretty unique situation for this group.
I agree.
I would have to agree.
You have a child with you. Well, I mean, other than Kai, who has to worry about his little sister, who I guess it's not the same because she happens to know what's happening here somehow.
I feel like she might be worrying for him more than he's worrying for her, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I just...
You're gonna say it out loud, coward.
He is with child. I'm sorry, that's a reference. But go ahead. Sorry.
You guys should probably go to sleep. I will be diligent in my watch.
Do you not need sleep?
Oh, I totally need sleep. I'm a normal human being, like you. See, look how
Okay, fair.
Look
no need for
how
the sarcasm.
tired I am. Oh, I'm so tired, but I will watch diligently, even in my tired spirits.
Well, at least we have a nightlight.
That was uncalled for.
So was the sarcasm.
Wow, Jane. Wow.
Oof.
Then Jane will turn in for the night.
I force of habitly go to my phone and start reading books on my phone before I turn it off and go to sleep.
Your phone is running out of batteries.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
know.
die.
Emma, it could be much more useful for other things. The flashlight feature, I'm sure, can come in handy.
That drains the battery
I think
so
you might
fast.
have that covered.
You know what?
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about different thing. Just ignore I said that.
I will, for your sake. For both of our sakes. I don't know why I'm getting so torn up about this. Everyone can see that I can glow. It's not a big deal.
Not what I was referring to.
I
Go
get
to
that.
sleep as well and worry about,
Everything
the
tomorrow.
others.
You
The
all
fact that I
fall
have yet to
eventually-
call my father.
You all fall into a sort of fitful sleep, most of you anyway.
I don't imagine I'm doing much sleeping.
When they sleep, I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna make sure Ezekiel's still asleep. I'm gonna
I'll
tuck him
probably
in,
still be awake.
and then I'm gonna sneak downstairs.
So, Aron, you can see Mattias sneak downstairs. He glows. Can't
I
sneak.
glow.
Can't
I'm
sneak.
going to
I'm pretty
actually
tall.
in pursuit. Because I'm bored. It piqued my interest.
So Aron actually sneaks after him. Why don't you both roll me sneak around?
How do
Oh
I?
my gosh, I'm so used to you saying roll stealth.
Are you going to be applying my weakness?
What, glowing?
No, there's no one around to witness it right now except for Aron, who's already
Dice
seen
do
you.
you? Which?
Okay.
How does
So
this
it is 2d6s or 1d12.
Ah! I dropped one. We'll just
I got a 7 as a grand total.
Okay, you can add tags for sneak around.
All I can imagine is the Scooby-Doo sneaking.
What tag would help in my situation?
That's not Scooby-Doo, that's
Scooby-Doo glows.
yeah. That too.
Yeah, I have nothing that is helpful, and I rolled a 3. So...
Ooh.
I didn't need to add your
Everyone can see
weakness.
you. For some reason, you glow brighter.
I sneeze
You wake up
and the hair
everyone
flares out.
upstairs.
Do you have anything you can add, Aron?
I don't really think that I can be too terribly helpful.
Well, 7 is a soft success anyway, so I choose a complication. There's nothing. You guys are sneaking after each other. So I mean, I'll pick one quietly, and we'll see the consequences of that are later.
Oh, please don't.
Oh boy.
Mine's a straight up fail. Do I run into kitchen staff or something?
Do you,
I mean, you're straight up not sneaking. You're walking around. There's just everyone's asleep.
Yeah.
You haven't clattered into pots and pans to wake everyone up yet, but
Yes.
you're stumbling over your own 2 feet enough that you think if you hit a staircase, you might,
Well, I do want to go downstairs.
Just every stair you hit is just a little creakier than it was when you came up.
Why?
Aron, you're feeling pretty good about your stealth. You're using the loudness of your compatriot in front of you to be even stealthier by comparison.
Yeah, I'm just kind of. I'm not 100% sure that all of you are just slowly following them because they're incredibly loud. You don't even hear me in the background, just like, what?
Yeah, I don't notice Aron, do I?
No.
Yeah. I wanna go to downstairs and just explore anything that's written or drawn or...
Okay. Excuse me while I furiously flip through notes.
I love it.
But there are plaques on the wall. There are books written in common, so English, in silver script on the spine, The Song of Shadows, volumes 1 through 7. There seem to be multiple copies of these books lying around. There is a mural of a woman with a veiled face holding up the night sky. At the center of the cathedral, for lack of a better term. There is another book called the Book of Saints. There's the Holy Mothers, a history. And there are small little quotes, inscriptions on golden plaques throughout the halls. I'll read some of those for you. O mother, my mother, shall I bask in your light? O mother, my mother, might you take me into your night? O mother, my mother, might you guide me in your wisdom's height? Praise be to the astral and her saint stars that protect us from their never-ending night. And another. May each star in the astral's endless sky guide me with their light. May my ancestors hear my reverence and look favorably upon me tonight. May the saints of the brightest stars know that I follow in their grandest flights, for most simply I am a loyal child of the night. And these quotes appear to be excerpts from the Song of Shadows.
Okay. So it's like, yeah, never mind, I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, and I will pick up the Song of Shadows books because you said there are multiple copies of that?
Yes.
I will take volumes 1 through 7 and put them on I will take volumes 1 through 7 and I will make my way back upstairs with them.
And Aron, what are you doing while you're downstairs?
I don't think if I just to randomly take a bunch of books from these
One of them was marked with history.
Oh, yeah, I also want to take the
Holy Mothers
a history.
Could I try to persuade how, taking books is probably not the best idea?
You step out of the shadows and reveal yourself.
Yeah.
So Aron walks down the stairs and kind of peers quizzically at you, Mattias.
Oh. Do you like reading? I'll hand him the Holy Mothers of History. I feel like we have some studying to do.
But I don't like stealing either. What are you doing?
I'm not stealing. I'm looking for something to do. I have like 8 hours to kill.
There's this thing called, you could probably sleep for that amount of time, give or take.
Oh, yes, because that is something that I, a human glow stick, am very capable of.
Imagine you're probably used enough to your own glow, you could probably fall asleep.
I don't need to sleep. Do you want to stay up with me and read? I'm not the smartest brick in the bunch. That's not a saying.
I'm down for that, because I'm also incredibly bored.
Yep, and I hand him the other 2 books, the Book of Saints and the Holy Mothers of History.
Oh boy,
and
here
I
we
start on the Song of Shadows.
So you guys take the night to pour through these books. The Song of Shadows is a lyrical book that tells the tale of a figure known as the Astral Mother and her court of stars, which appears to be the Altharan afterlife.
In terms of like dense, how big is this book? Like, how did someone write an entire poem that is like Bible long, or is it like?
I get the book. It's mine. I'm reading it.
You're not awake.
It's about the afterlife, so.
So, to answer your question, there are multiple, different poems in here, but some of them are, very, very long. Again, there are 7 books in the Song of Shadows.
Okay.
They all are lyrical in nature.
Maddie is struggling. He's like...
And when they rhyme, but they're also, they have them written out like a poem, but they also have music sheets next to them, so this is clearly a literal song.
Hey, Aron?
Yep.
Is the info in those books given to you in a more straightforward manner?
The answer is yes. They're history books.
Do you want to maybe do a tradesies? Because I'm really bad at this whole, in English class where they dissect the text. I used Spark Notes a lot, so...
I guess so.
Spark Notes for the win.
That's harder to understand.
Yeah.
So you trade. Holy Mothers for the history. Are you ready for me to yell a bunch of names at you?
Hold up.
Sonya
for viewerships, the players are doing stretches to get ready to take a bunch of notes.
I feel like your character does that too, opening the first page and just I gotta get ready for this one.
This also gives you a good view into the timeline of Althara, the way they denote time.
Oh, Lordy. I'm ready!
159 creation to 170 creation, Mother Starbright the First. 170 creation to 257 breath, Mother Seashine.
No!
You weren't ready.
What was the first one again?
Mother Starbright the First. I'll go slower. 247 breath to
Wait, what was the second one? 170 to what?
170 creation to 247 breath, Mother Seashine. 247 breath to 282 breath, Mother Starbright the Second, and so on and so forth until the modern era, 1452 to the modern era, Mother Black Divine the Third. I can send you all a picture of this document later at a later time. I'm not going to actually list out all of the names.
Wait, so it's 1452 to modern era. It's what?
Mother Black Divine the Third.
So a whole heck of a lot
these are
longer.
popes or something.
Or the Mother of
My wrist is actually cramping up.
Same.
And there's a similar list for all of the saints. I'm not going to read that out either, but I will read you out the saints that are not based on stories. I will tell you the saints that are based off of people from Altharan history. The Saint of Sacrifice, a shadow knight who lost her life slaying an Orikar. The Saint of Hope, a candling hero that killed Orikar Terafel. The Saint of Velar, a clever commander that killed Orikar Zenithal. The Saint of Peace, the immortal Emperor Skycaller who is credited with the binding of the Fae. The Saint of Diplomacy, a priest who brought the court religion officially to Andrathis, binding it with Evra. The Saint of Justice, a priestess who created the public trial system. The Saint of Ambition, the first empress and founder of the Emran Empire. The Saint of Diligence, the architect who helped create the Saint's tomb in Astrakhan. The Saint of Solidarity, a woman who helped found the first order of knights in Andrathis. The Saint of Sport, a human who invented the Altharis League, a group that attracts knights and mages into many games. And those are some of the figures of history. There are many, many saints. The saints of the Court of Stars are recorded and shrined in the Saints' Tomb of Astrakhan, are the most prominent and loyal children of the night, remembered in both myth and legend and in the tomes of history. And in the book, there are little stories associated with each of the saints. In the history of the Holy Mothers, it goes through each of the Holy Mothers, their past and their accomplishments during their time as Holy Mother. Which, for clarification, is the head of the Court of Stars religion.
Like a pope, but for the Holy Stars.
For the Shadow of Stars, it's a little harder to ascertain information from it, but you still get stuff. So, the Court of Stars very much clearly reveals the night sky. It's said to be humanity's afterlife, ruled over by the Eternal Mother, the Astral. Each of the stars is a human soul shining down on Althara to protect and guide those still alive as holy ancestors. The greatest of which live in the brightest stars as saints. So the court is matriarchal. It is led by the Holy Sisterhood, with the title of Sister, Holy Sister, Revered Songstress, and the highest rank achievable, which is the Holy Mother.
So that's the info that Aron got?
I am not done reading.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Their primary text is the text you are currently reading, the Song of Shadows. And so outside of humans, after all, the Court of Stars is humanity's afterlife. Candlings have been named star-touched and are said to be blessed by the Astral herself, giving them with great magical abilities. They are said to be holy and revered children of the night, and within the court are highly respected. On the other side of things, a people referred to as the Salbana, which translated, there is like a little translated version in the common tongue, is dark eyes, are named starless, rejected by the Astral, and destined to languish outside of her never-ending night for all of eternity. It is very clearly in text, they're not enemies, but they're seen as creatures to be pitied, because they don't get to go to the afterlife. And there are two other races on Althara mentioned in the Song of Shadows, the Fae and Oricars. They are named Daybringers, enemies of the Astral, to either be bound or killed. And it is where the night is a time of peace, the day is seen as a covering of the Astral, a time where she hides her kingdom to allow the people of Althara to toil. So, within the text of the Song of Shadows, it is referenced that people will sin and do battle and spill blood during the day, and at night it is considered dishonorable. As you would be showing the Astral Mother your sins while she is there to watch you.
And judge you accordingly.
Yes, and judge you accordingly.
Sounds like something
that is about the information you get from the Song of Shadows.
Did you get it? Because I don't do songs very well. Did you understand?
I'm like, yeah.
And then you relay that information to me?
Yes, I do a bunch of information.
Lower dump.
Yeah, this is in the morning by the time you're all finishing up reading. By the time Mattias has finished 2 books and and Aron has finished 7.
Not very smart. Leave me alone.
Sounds accurate.
Having done.
You don't even know me.
You've referred to yourself as not the, what is it?
Brightest brick in the
bunch.
I want that on a t-shirt now. Not the brightest brick in the bunch. Which is ironic, because he glows!
Yes.
Anyway. Everyone else starts to wake up for the day. Aron is tired and waylaid because you got no sleep.
I was like, I didn't sleep, but I still need sleep. So
you do still need sleep.
Oh, that was an
that was a mistake.
Yeah. And in fact, you do need sleep. So I am going to, complicate things. And give you the tag, Exhausted 1.
Uh-oh. Oh my gosh, it's kind of, because you only get 6 levels of exhaustion before you die.
That's great.
Stop.
Like we all did.
I've scarred, for context for the viewers,
Stop.
I've scarred the party with exhaustion from our Dungeons and Dragons game that we
Killed
ran.
us.
She didn't.
That was a game that was a map.
Multiple times
I
over.
said
Anyway,
stop.
enough about the horrible PTSD I've given this party of adventurers. Let's continue. It's starting to be get into the hours of the morning where everyone is waking up. What order does everyone wake up in?
Adalaie gets up because she's an old woman.
Fair.
And then Ezekiel probably wakes up just after you because he's a 4-year-old child. So he's like...
Ezekiel wakes up and feels the child need of getting everyone else up with him.
And I try my best to curb that. And be like, no, it's quiet time still.
Adalaie helps Ezekiel in his endeavor.
So eventually everyone is woken up at like the crack of dawn by the combined forces of Adalaie and Ezekiel.
Ezekiel running around, baby shark.
Baby shark.
Yeah, that song is not getting old. It's not getting old at all. I love that song.
Really early for this, you guys.
No, it's not.
Very early.
That had to get up.
And Mikael and Aron wake up at similar times. What is that noise?
It is a child.
A child.
A child.
No.
Oh god.
Well, I should probably get up and get going anyway. And he looks at all of you. Well, Kingmakers, I have to go back to my homeland. If you make your way up to Skystead, look up the Merchants Guild. Perhaps I can guide you around. And he starts gathering his things.
I have a request before. Has coffee been invented yet?
Yes. Do you wish for coffee?
Where is it, please?
I am sure Levithia can guide you to breakfast.
Oh dear lord, I'm going to pass out. I made an awful mistake.
Your mistake, bro.
I got to learn stuff. And...
Now, what did y'all do?
Oh my god, we still have the books.
What books?
Aron?
Yeah, what books?
Hey, Aron, any chance you want to take these downstairs?
I don't think I can walk downstairs right now. I will pass out halfway through.
That's okay. Here, you take the
Adalaie
books.
would like to give them.
And then I will scoop Aron up bridal style.
I am. Really?
Do that. Emma from the background.
Oh.
Yeah. See, Aron, what are you doing with all those books, man?
I don't know. What are you doing?
Apparently taking you down to breakfast. Ezekiel, you want food?
Food!
Alright.
I don't know how. Aaron's like, I don't know how to feel about this.
I sip it.
A large mix of emotions over here.
Wait. Are you getting hot and bothered? Because fire.
Oh God.
Request you drop me down the stairs, please. I'm actually joking. Please don't.
I do that thing you do with kids, and I like, huh?
Oh dear God.
Levithia's already downstairs cataloging her missing books, and there's like, there they are.
I take them and hand them back to her. I got bored.
Do I get put down?
No.
Again,
Yes.
I don't know. He's confused how to feel about this. A large mix of mainly exhaustion, but there's other emotions there. Mainly just the need of caffeine. That's the majority one, but there's other ones.
Mattias kind of just forgot about you and is like,
how do you forget?
I will prepare breakfast for everyone then. Michael, are you heading out? And Michael has followed you guys down the stairs. Got to get an early start on the road. Don't want to travel tonight. Need to make it to the next town before then. Good luck on your journeys. Safe travel.
Here. I pull a $1 bill out and I give it to him.
Why are you giving me useless green paper?
It's foreign currency. That makes it cool.
If you ever end up in our world...
I don't disagree with you. And he fishes around in his pocket and he hands you a crown. Power exchange.
Ezekiel, come here.
Yeah?
Look.
Shiny. It's gold. It's probably worth like $100 in your world.
Before I actually hand it to him, I show the others.
Oh my god.
And then I hand it to Ezekiel.
Shiny. Starts biting it.
Beer. Don't chew on that.
No,
You don't know
no,
what it's
God.
in.
Ashley, Jane, seeing that it is gold, will like hold out her bracelet and be like, "Is this worth anything?"
I'm sure you could sell your jewelry at the market. But looking it over, what does your jewelry look like?
It's like a classic, like there are like 3 sort of gemstones with her birthstone in it. I'm gonna say like opals, and then it's made of gold, probably given to her by her mother, like from like a really long time ago.
You could fetch a fair price for it at market, though you won't find many in Evra who are willing to shell out the coin.
Yeah, maybe don't.
And Rathis has better market for it.
Okay.
Trade capital of the world we are. Anyway, I shall head out.
And after that long conversation, I put Aron down in a chair, suddenly realizing how awkward that must have been. And then I
appreciated whatever that was.
I just pat you on the head. And
other members of the church wearing robes of a different color than Levithia start wandering in and out. Eventually food is prepared and passed out around the table.
So is this like a place where we say grace before a meal?
Do you know what salt is?
There is salt in this food. It would taste fairly horrid without it.
But like, so you guys do that? Like say grace before a meal?
Not during the daytime. When the sun is out, you do not pray.
That's...
I don't want to be overly disrespectful, but we're gonna go ahead and do that.
There are other religions on Althar, and I will do our best to respect yours.
Thank you. And then I start praying, and then I glance at Ezekiel and make sure he starts praying before
he does too.
Eats.
He's probably doing it before you.
And then I high-five him, and then we start eating.
Gives you a high five back and shovels in with equal speed and pace to Mattias.
Y'all are just grown boys, aren't you?
It's interesting. It's definitely some sort of vegetable dish with vegetables you've never tasted before.
Oh my god, how does Ezekiel react? Mm-hmm. And what do you say to these nice people that fed us?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Continues eating, though less frenzied. But it is a mixture of eggs, rice, and this odd vegetable that you've never had before.
This is their thing to keep Aron from passing out.
There is coffee and tea that's passed around.
He just takes a very large cup of it and just chugs it before he even starts eating.
I also take a very large cup of it.
And the Vithia looks over at you. Uran is going to go prepare your transportation while I will guide you all to the seamstresses to get you better traveling clothes. If that is all right.
That's all right.
That's right.
I'm gonna lean over to Ezekiel again. Hey, we're going shopping. You like shopping. You stop fibbing.
Are we shopping for toys?
No.
We're shopping for swords.
No, we're not. Don't put that in his head. Dude.
Swords?
No.
Swords.
Good job, Jane.
And Oren walks in as he hears that sighs, walks out of the room, and comes back with a very oddly carved wooden one.
Okay.
Take your toy sword, little warrior. Sword!
You give a child a sword?
Take away the weapon from the child now before I do it.
Immediately, he cracks the closest person over the face with it. Whack.
He tries, it bounces off.
Ooh.
There are little runes carved into this sword.
Ooh.
Training sword. Won't do anything. It physically cannot hurt anything.
Wow, but I can.
Hey, Ezekiel.
Yeah, people.
Yeah?
You know how you have money now, and he just gave you something, so what do you do with the money?
Here you go. Thank you very much.
Did you just pay for the practice sword?
Yes.
Oh! You must protect.
Continues playing with it. Ezekiel continues playing with his new toy sword.
I take it away from him and put it down next to me. You have food in front of you. Eat your food.
Adalaie, who decided to sit next to Ezekiel, would like to do manifest candy of multiple sensations and create a chocolate bar that it's just a normal chocolate bar. She's not going to add anything to it, and just sort of hand it to him.
I'm gonna take it.
She does it again.
I snatched it. No, he just make him finish the food, the regular food.
Oh, can't you just let a child have a nice thing?
After breakfast. After breakfast, Ezekiel.
No, my mom always told me that ice cream was the champion's breakfast.
Your mama is not Ezekiel's papa.
Ooh, true.
I don't know. But just
Ezekiel, he will nod at you, Mattias, while badly 4-year-oldly winking at Adalaie.
I'm gonna look at Ezekiel. You get it after breakfast.
She sneaks a sucker into his pocket.
Do I see her put the sucker in his pocket?
Roll me a sneak around, Adalaie.
Okay. That's 2d6, right?
Yes.
1, 2. I got a 9.
Do you have anything you can add to it?
Let's see. Can
Camouflage candy. The wrapper is camouflage.
Tactful persuasion?
Tactful persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. 10. No one notices you. Sneak this candy into Ezekiel's pocket, except for Ezekiel, who you share just a look with before he goes back to eating.
Adorable. Hey, but he's waiting till after breakfast to eat it.
Jane will turn to Maddie and she's gonna go it seems I have some unfair and inaccurate presumptions of you from someone else who has talked to me, obviously. And
yes, and I will side eye Ezekiel, and we can have those conversations at a later date.
She will not.
I listen in.
Go back to
that part of the conversation.
Okay. And you guys eat this odd breakfast of weird flavors. The vegetable is like a cross between a carrot and a pepper.
That sounds delicious!
Yeah, it's good tasting. It's just different.
Can I ask what this is? It's obviously something we haven't encountered before.
It is a gray vine. Common vegetable around here.
It's
made from
freaking
roots
awesome.
of a larger plant.
So it is a carrot.
No, it's like a carrot pepper.
It's a spicy carrot.
It's not super spicy. It's like
spicy carrot.
Spicy carrot.
Gray vine, spicy carrot.
In like parentheses.
And Vithia will wait until you've all finished your meal. Or she will stand. Now, it takes a while to make clothing, but I am sure Mathilda, the local seamstress, has at least some clothes or simple garments that we might make use of for your travels. Rain, while we are out, will you find a horse and cart and proper supplies for our larger group? I was planning on doing that anyway. Why not? Thank you. And Rain walks in one direction out of the court cathedral, and Levithia will lead you into another. Out into the town, which has come alive in the daylight. The hustle and bustle of people going off to work in farms or as local lumberjacks, or in other small businesses and marketplaces in the area. There is a central market that she leads you all toward, where the town well is positioned. And she leads you past some of the market stalls and into a store that has a picture marked with a thread and needle sort of icon on it. A little bell dings with your entrance, having been set up by a pulley system of wires. There is weaver stations, stray cloth, all around. There is a younger woman sitting at a desk. She has little bifocals on. Is wearing a pretty big dress in grays and darker dollar colors, and she looks up. Oh, Holy Sister Levithia, and guests. How may I help you? Apprentice Winifred. Is Mathilda home today? Yes, I'll go get her immediately. And she scurries off into a back room and comes back with an older woman.
Did you just say princess?
Apprentice Winifred.
Apprentice. Okay, I misheard.
Is she around our age?
A little younger, probably. High schooler age. And a much older, severe-looking woman with gray hair held up in a tight bun walks in. Then looks around. Levithia and guests, to what do I owe the honor? We are here to get new traveling garments for my companions here. We were hoping you had some time to spare for the matter. Yes, they are dressed quite oddly. Should I inquire as to? I do not think you wish to know. A court matter then. I will leave it. Now step up then, I'll take measurements, see if I have anything on your size in the back.
I just plop Ezekiel.
Child's clothing, I could probably manage. Winifred, did you have the smaller pattern? Yes. You have a winter's cloak available. Summer's clothing, but I do have a winter's cloak in the back. It will do. And bring out medieval-style clothing for Ezekiel. It's tiny, short, it doesn't fit exactly perfect, and she takes some time to adjust it with needle and thread. You know, Miss Levithia, I do not think me and Winifred will be able to do this for much longer. Her Baroness Swan has asked us to attend to her this evening. Oh, is she attending to guests? Yes, Marquis Wolfgar is coming over. Apparently for some renegotiating trade deals, as usual. How interesting. We will not take too much of your time, I am sure. At the very least, I can leave you Winifred while I go over. She wants a re-upping of some of her frayed wardrobe from the last visit. Of course. And Mathilda goes through and she takes your guys' measurements and calls stuff out to Winifred, who comes out with... They're not made for you, so they are kind of ill-fitting dresses and traveler's garments equipped with cloaks and things.
Just try and
I try to not get a dress because I don't want to be stuck in a dress.
They hand you a dress.
I give you my sweatpants because I'm like, I clearly don't need them.
Thanks.
So you can at least put them on under the dress.
Do you have something that's not a dress, perhaps?
A change of clothing would be nice.
For Evra, it is traditional for women travelers to wear long gowns, but I can foresee some in need of traveler's trousers. Winifred, how many pairs of trousers do we have extra? Not enough to fit all of them, I'm afraid.
I'd wear a dress.
You want the dress? You can have the dress.
Yeah, we can trade.
Trade.
You gonna be wearing a dress the whole time?
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Mattias gets a dress that is made for Emma's size, so will not fit at all. Ever.
He's wearing his t-shirt and joggers underneath. He's mostly just kind of wearing the skirt.
Levithia size, the point is to gather less attention, not more, Mattias.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna give Emma back the dress.
It is sort of frayed and ripped, and Winifred is glaring daggers at you from the counter.
genuinely did not mean to do that. It was an accident.
It costs 100 crowns. She looks straight at Levithia when she says that.
Hold up, I got this.
I will pay it later.
I got this. Adalaie takes the dress and uses, I think it's called Masterful Seam. I gotta look at my paper.
Woo!
Thinking ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Uses Masterful Creator, which is basically seamstress or what have you, and patches it up.
Is this a mythos or a logos?
Logos.
So it is still within reality. You cannot snap your fingers and make things magical happen with your logos themes. It would take just as much time as for these trained seamstresses to fix the dress as it would you. You can't snap your fingers and make it better, especially without the proper material.
Yeah, true. Let's see, what else do I got?
But Levithia has agreed to pay the 100 crowns that the dress costs.
Okay. Can I use my mythos of because I said so?
I mean, you can try to convince them to do something if you'd like.
Dang it. No.
Or you could she like create the thread and materials because she's
There is only one person in this group that can summon objects, and it is not the people who are talking.
All right.
What is needed? I said what 15 times.
Just say what a bunch of times.
You need to fix the dress? I can do that.
Wow, everyone in here can fix a dress. That is 5 people who said they can fix the dress.
I can summon someone undead who has a dress and rip it off.
Wow!
Oh, that is terrible! No!
And?
Robbing the dead?
I mean, it's not like they need it.
Just chill out. They're my homies. They'll be fine with it.
I use creation to fix it.
Do you create a
new
dress, or do you?
No, I create traveler's pants that I am comfortable with that suits the style that I've seen so far, and like a shirt also.
Okay.
I would like to
jacket.
Their eyes are awed as they watch you use this magic.
There. This suits the style more. Would I blend in?
You made me put on a dress for nothing. I did that for absolutely no reason. Yeah, I did love it.
It was great.
It was awesome. But
it was 100% worth it.
Ashley?
Yes?
I'd like to bargain with the seamstress who's like really upset over this dress, and maybe present her with some fashion from my world, some patterns, and trade.
Roll me a convince check.
Okay.
Everyone's rolling everything. I'm so excited.
That's a 10.
Okay, hard success. So she'll nod. Fine, I will discount the price a little for reparations, Levithia. In return for some patterns, if you please.
She'll get some out from her purse, because she was going to meet her mother and is a fashion minor, and her mother is like the fashion icon of modern France. So she will give out some of those, but she probably won't be needing it for a while.
He'll nod graciously, and Mathilda will brush herself off and gesture to Winifred. Well, now that we have fitted you off all with some basic traveler's clothes, we need to get going to the Baroness's, if you will. And they gesture for you guys to leave.
As we make our way out, I kind of like sarcastically put on my Nike sweatshirt and zip it up, and then put my beanie back on.
You are very bad at this inconspicuous thing, aren't you?
I glow!
You could pretend to be a familiar.
I don't know what that is. And that sounds a little degrading. I don't know what that is.
They are magic companions.
You could pretend to be one of the things that Miss I Like the Dead over there summoned.
A dead person?
But I have a idea. If you are all heading to the capital, it might be a good idea to get the favor of a Marquess. Marquess Wolfgard Ward is who Mathilda was referring to. He holds the border between Endrathis and Evra. A famous name. If you gain his favor, you'll have an easier time gaining entry and access to different places in the capital.
He holds the border between what and what?
Endrathis and Evra, the southern border.
It would be nice to meet some people here before we move along.
And it also might be a, shall we say, good warm-up for dealing with nobles. Considering you're heading to the capital first, you might want to acquaint yourself with the culture in that respect.
Yeah.
Let's hope it improves from last time.
I'm gonna look down at Ezekiel. We had to pretend to be princes, dude.
Prince! Yeah! Wait, let's play make-believe. Do I get a crown?
Yeah, why not? We'll find you a crown.
Yeah.
As we're walking, I'm like, are there flowers along the path?
Sure.
I'm gonna frumpily try and make a flower crown.
You're doing so poorly.
Jane, lean over and assist with that endeavor.
Yeah, Jane makes it 7 times faster because...
Wait, can I just try to summon a tiny little crown? Because I can just kind of do that.
You summon a tiny cloud. It, of course, glows a neon color.
It glows. It's kind of on the verge of a little bit too bright, but just dull enough so you don't have to squint too much.
Oh my god, that's so cute. I put
Make
it on
glow
Ezekiel's
the same color
head.
as Maddie. Make it glow the same color as Maddie.
I don't have any control over how it glows. It glows kind of like a neon white color.
Well, I'm showing it to Ezekiel, and I'm like, dude, look at it. It's glowy like me.
We match!
Wait, does he know you glow? He can see you glow then.
Yeah. I mean, I've been glowing his entire life.
Yes, but
It's a normal thing because it runs in the family sometimes.
Right.
Apparently, my dad glowed, but we don't know Grandpa. So.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, if you want to all go meet the Marquess, we're going to have to walk through the Baroness. If you cannot tell, I am not exactly fond of Lavina.
What's that?
Lavina Swan is, you will see. She is ferocious in her ideals, shall I say, in the most polite of fashions. It is not good to speak ill of others.
So we turn the charm up to 11.
I think we can handle.
Very well.
No flirting.
And would you prefer I introduce you as members of the court that I'm doing passage with, or honestly as Kingmakers?
Members of the court.
Members of the court.
Members of the
Shouldn't
court.
Honesty is the best policy. Shouldn't we go with Kingmakers?
No, because if
It's
we
gonna
are
stop
honest,
to us and we'll never know how she actually acts.
yeah, her bias will be towards us in order to win our favor.
It will be
Isn't that what we
harder
want?
to win the Marquess's favor should you introduce yourself as members of the court. He is not
Yeah.
particularly fond of them, or us, I should say.
I feel like if
I've heard from
need
yours.
be, we can reveal that information in more private terms, if we are able to.
I think we should come right out with it. And if you try and bargain for our favor, we know you're a slimy sleazeball, and we can go for it. I'm gonna look down at Ezekiel. Before I finish that, I'm gonna look down at Ezekiel. We know you're not a great person, and thus we don't want to risk giving you power. We should not be treated any differently because we have the ability to name a new ruler. And if you hold us to a higher regard than most people because of that, then we don't want you in charge anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
But once again,
confirm or deny her change of behavior? She'll turn to the Holy Sister.
I try to
You
keep
can
my
do that.
interactions with the Baroness to a polite minimum. She is not a devout member of the court, so I do not see her often.
Right. Then I Maddie has convinced me that it is reasonable for us to just introduce ourselves and be honest as well.
He looks so pleased with himself. He just like sits back and he's like,
Jane will then like place the flower crown that they made on his head just because his son already has one now.
It starts to burn a little bit, but Maddie like puts the beanie on and then puts the flower crown on top of the
Wait. So your hair does not burn wood, but it does burn flowers?
It burns anything that is there for a long amount of time. That's why this special beanie is there. That's why he can't put his hair up in elastics, because the elastics eventually melt.
Learned that? It sounds like someone who learned that the hard way.
Yes. It's not fire, it's just high heat.
Okay.
Can you light stuff on fire? Because we do have this gasoline now.
Yeah, dump gasoline on them. See how that's...
I'm gonna gesture to the piece of the bus that I'm still carrying around that has melted tips.
Good to know.
Why are you still carrying that?
I don't know what to do with it.
Toss it.
Well, I might be helpful. It's
Stick
like
it
a
in the
javelin.
ground. No one will know where it's from.
It's like a javelin, and it's like weighted about correctly, and it's about as long as it should be.
Could I create a version of that wouldn't melt, so you wouldn't have to worry about it, and it would glow?
What if I don't want more stuff that glows?
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
Hey, you'd be able to see where it was going when you threw it.
That would be pretty cool, though.
It could be like a throwable torch.
We'll
or we could just toss him.
When we get to the point of you, like, if we're in, like, you know what?
I'm sorry, I just got the image of Mattias being launched out of a trebuchet inserted into my brain. So...
Mattias eats himself.
Anyway, Levithia leads the way. It looks like Mathilda and her apprentice Winifred are taking a similar path to the manor house of the Baroness, which is on the far end of town from the court church. And there are guards out front, armored. Winifred and Mathilda are nodded on, and they enter through a back door. But Levithia nods to the guard and approaches the front and knocks. And a servant opens the door. How may I help you, ma'am? Yes. Might to announce that Holy Sister Levithia is here to announce the arrival of Kingmakers to Baroness Swan. And the servant blinks a couple times like she's been slapped unexpectedly, and then nods, kind of still in shock. Of course, madame. And she hurries off. And leaving the door ajar, and Levithia gestures for you to follow her into the, like, waiting sort of area inside the entry hall.
Yes, we follow.
And so she closes the door behind everyone, and the servant scurries in and is like, they're having a late breakfast. Would you like to join, or have you already eaten?
We've already eaten. Unless y'all are still hungry.
I know he's not. I'm gonna look down at Ezekiel, who's probably mid-candy, just like...
He's in the middle of the sucker right now.
Yeah, the sucker.
Where'd you get the sucker from?
I don't like sharks. Maybe that's his power. Creating candy out of nowhere.
Then I will lead you on to a waiting room until they are done with breakfast. I hope you do not mind the wait.
Oh, it's alright.
No.
And the serving girl guides you to a little office area.
In the meantime, while we wait, do you have any history books that we could borrow while we wait?
I shall I bring one to you right away, mistress. And she
Thank you.
scurries off and comes back with like a literal cart of different books of different topics. And
Everybody
bows and
choose a
scurries
book.
away.
About
Vithia-
how old is she?
Hmm?
How about old is the servant?
Younger than you
Yeah.
guys.
I take the flower crown off and I put it on her head.
Oh, immediately turns beet red.
Aww.
Thank you, sir. And she scurries off.
Everybody
so
choose a book.
cute.
Can we look at what book options there are?
Sure, there seems to be history books for pretty much a lot of different things. What do you want to learn about?
I want to learn more about the holy sisters in the forest.
Or
So
the
you,
candlelings?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to learn more about the kingdoms.
okay, which kingdom? Because I'll do different info drops to different ones.
Start writing. What are the kingdom names again?
Yeah.
The Everin Empire is where you currently are. The Kingdom of Andrathis is to the south, along with the city-state of Astrakhan. There is a book on the Mere Groves in the city of Briar's End, where the Candlings make their home.
Second one.
Andrathis.
Yeah.
You want to read about Andrathis? Okay. And who wants to read about anything else?
I want to read about Aron, the one that we're in right now.
Okay, Everin Empire?
Mattias is bored of reading, so he doesn't even. He just sits
I'd
there
like
and
to
plays with
read-
Ezekiel.
I'd like to read about the runes that I see or saw on the
Okay, so you get a more specific Everin book on the Cloudvale Academy, which is the Academy for Magic. And you can also ask Levithia questions, because it seems she knows some things about magic.
I wonder if I can create.
Aron, are you reading anything?
I'll do whatever is still available.
Okay,
The
then I will.
Astrakhan or whatever.
So who's reading what again?
I'm reading the Everin. The one that
I'm
we're in
reading
right now.
about the forest creatures.
Candlelings.
Yes. I can't remember the name for the life of me.
The Mirror Grove.
Yes. the
Okay,
name.
and Adalaie is reading the book on Andrathis. So I'll give a brief summary of each of these empires and kingdoms and things. So the Empire of Evra is the largest country, sort of conglomeration of people on Althara. It stretches pretty much through the entirety of central Althara into the corner spires. It stops just before the Three Lakes and Astrakhan, and stops again just before the Pine Forest on the other southern tip, meeting the borders of Andrathis and Belanarin. It is ruled and has been ruled by the Evermore family since its founding. Many, many, many years ago. 1500, almost. Very long time. Right now, the current ruler, who has ruled since, if I can find the date, for more than 1 century. Beyond the average lifespan of a human. Emperor Skycaller Evermore. You will learn that
Wait,
is
Emperor Skycaller.
Evermore.
Okay.
Many centuries ago, he had a wife and a daughter. They both passed. Just recently, he took a new wife, Queen Regent Yvette Evermore, and he has a son and a daughter with her, Rain Evermore and Thala Evermore. Rain first in line to the throne. Thala second in line to the throne.
What's the wife's name again?
Yvette.
Well, they're not in line for the throne anymore, I guess. Is that okay?
The Everin Empire's religion is the Court of Stars, if that was not obvious. Their capital is in Ashbourne, where they are ruled in a monarchical hierarchy of nobles. Starting, the highest rank is the Emperor, then there are dukes and duchesses, then there are dukes and duchesses, which rule dukedoms, and then there are marquises and marchionesses, who rule territory next to the border, and counts and countesses, who rule smaller divisions of territory away from the border. Under counts is viscounts and viscountesses, and under them is barons and baronesses. It is a land of knights, with mages and many different knights' orders in it. It is home to the largest magical academy and home to many landmarks, as technically the Grove of Mirrors is in their territory, the Fendragal Mountains are in their territory, and the Lamb's Blood is in their territory. In order, the largest forest, the only mountain range, and the largest lake.
But the largest forest name is what?
The Grove of Mirrors.
Has the biggest lake?
Mm-hmm. The Lamb's Blood.
And what was the last one?
The Fendragal Mountains, Athara's only mountain range.
No. It's weird, only have one mountain range.
And the kingdom of Andrathis was once upon a time ruled by a king, hence being a kingdom. But there was a grand rebellion, of which they elected to form a council. More of an oligarchy than a democracy, however, because all of the council leaders are also leaders of their respective guilds.
Okay.
The symbol of Andrathis is a black phoenix, said to be the founders of Andrathis's chosen mount.
My hand hurts from writing.
The Candlings and the people of the Mirror Grove live in Briar's End, a huge city suspended in the trees.
What?
Briar's End is on the map. It's the only city in the forest. And Briar's End and the Candlings within it never leave the forest, or at least if they do, it is very rare an occasion. In the history books, there is something about the four Candlings having come into existence after the forest was sealed for a very, very long time with humans trapped inside of it. And when the barrier was eventually weakened enough that it broke, the things that came out were the Candlings. Where humanity magic is a rare gift, every Candling is born with magic, seen as a sign that they are blessed by the Astral Mother. And then Astrakane is a holy city ruled by a council of people referred to as keepers. They are masked lords. Their identities kept a solemn secret. They are referred to by gems. And as it is a holy city, their council is matriarchal and ruled only by women. It is fairly certain to be the most religious place on Althara. A city entirely devoted to the Court of Stars.
Is there any mention of, what is that, Leywood? Leywood?
What are you looking for?
Right off the tree to the left, Leywood.
Ivywood. That's another small town.
Okay.
A lot of the forest is dotted with small towns that take small portions of the forest for lumber.
So what are the major cities?
The capitals is Ashbourne, which is a big city. Astrakhan, Skystead. There is very clearly no information on what is Levithia told to you was the Belanaran dynasty, which rules the southeastern tip of Althara.
Mm.
But if asked, she will tell you that their capital is called Solaris.
Okay.
Oh, Solaris.
And just to you as the MC, can you separate these into countries?
Later date.
Are they different color?
I can at a later date for you, but it is clear that the borders, this map was produced by the Empire. They purposefully did not draw the borders of the countries on there.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
In any case, that is the information you get before not the nobles, but a creature comes scurrying into the room. Scurrying is not even quite the right word. It is a mouse type creature, or at least it has the face of a mouse and the body of an owl. And it parades triumphantly into the room in bright yellow and orange color. It has a necklace around it that has 2 dice attached to it.
What kind of dice? Are they D6s?
Sure, there can be D6s.
Yes.
For reference's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks in from the door, having the servant left the door open, but it sort of hits it with its wing and closes it behind it. And peers at all of you, and Levithia peers down at it, and is, "You must be Sir Wulfgart's familiar? Ah, so you've heard of me."
Speaks.
It speaks, and it flies up to perch on the sort of cart of books that was brought in.
Mm-hmm.
So you were gonna try and pass me as one of a familiar? That's your familiar?
It is in its animal form currently. Do you have a other form you'd prefer? Not in front of court members, I'm afraid.
Oh.
I share my master's opinion of you. Easily, in fact. I see. Would it be better if I step out? It would be. You know, that'd be so grand if you left. That'd be great.
There's no need to be rude.
And it looks at you, and its mouth's like... Now, mouse quite isn't the right word anymore. Rat face brings itself into a scraggly grin. Oh, foreigners.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Who
something
need for
xenophobia.
hostility? Read a history book. A real one, not one of those Empire-approved garbage cans, and we can talk.
Okay, we've been here for 2 days.
Yeah.
Less than a day.
Oh yes, all the familiars sensed your arrival. It was quite... Yeah. The ripple in the tangle was wide.
You have a real history book, then, that we could read?
None that hasn't been burned for kindling.
This seems more like a pamphlet, to be honest.
And the Vithia will politely leave the room, giving the familiar a look as she does.
Burned books? Like, I'm not an avid reader, and I know that, like, that's not chill.
Well, I mean, unless they sold them all to Andrathis, I don't know what they did with them. You know, they might have actually sold them all to Andrathis. That's the sort of thing Andrathis would do.
So,
or they could be all locked in Cloudvale. They don't like sharing knowledge, the mages don't.
So...
And I serve a mage, and that's me saying that.
Yeah.
Anyway, my name is Mouse. It is a pleasure to meet you, Kingmakers. He says that, and right before your eyes, it is a shifting very naturally into a more humanoid form. Bright, similarly to your skin, glowing yellow skin with dark auburn hair, how long-ish down to the shoulders. On the dice, necklace glows, snaps off, and just the dice swirl around him, floating amorously. He pays them little mind, though. And what are your names?
Well, I'm Adalaie Ponteva.
A pleasure to meet you, Madame Ponteva.
I'm Maddie.
Miss Ponteva or Adalaie. No need for the prefix.
Okay then, Miss Ponteva. Mrs. Ponteva.
I am Emma.
Madame Emma.
You may
Sir
call
Matty.
me Jeanette.
Madame Jeanette. The lot of you two?
I'm gonna bump Ezekiel.
Ezekiel! Sir Ezekiel. And
I'm Aron. I've introduced myself.
Sir Aron, and you? Grumpy human. Human of dour complexion, constant scowl, what might your name be? Oh, I am greeted with only silence from the human of constant growl.
What did you say?
You annoy me.
Dude!
Well then, Madame Annoyance, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Don't call me that.
Well then, why'd you give me another name to refer to you by?
Fine, Mara.
Madame Mara? It is a pleasure to meet you all. Kingmakers, how do you do?
Still a little bit
I
confused as to
curtsy
how we got here.
sarcastically.
He will curtsy, not sarcastically back.
Wait, is that like actually a thing?
I don't know, is it?
I'm gonna turn to the others. Is that no one else has noticed that that's a thing?
Jane,
no,
Jane
it's not
was
a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
It is a thing.
It is
a
a
thing.
thing.
That
here?
what?
Yeah.
It's not. I'm gonna turn to him. It's not a thing for us. Is it a thing for you?
I don't know, is it?
Curtsying?
It's not very helpful.
My job is not to be helpful to you.
Ow.
I mean, you're going to pick some human-y human that looks like you to lead Althara next, so...
I mean, technically, you look like me, so...
Not all the time.
No. I mean, you look more similar than most people.
I suppose that is why the lady of the court wished to pass you off as one of my mine.
Probably. She's really all about the down low thing.
Oh, yes, I would be too, after all. There are many people who would not take you for your will and word.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Like what? Like who? Why?
Magic is easily controlled and contained. You are creatures of magic, are you not?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm just gonna give you all of you a look. Are you guys seriously putting a target on my back and my back only?
I mean, it was a rhetorical question. You all stand out like magical beacons in a lone sea.
Really?
We all glow for you?
Oh, I
Or
mean,
just him?
for most of those who can sense the tangle, you glow like beacons.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Most people who could sense the tangle could probably track you from anywhere on Althara, once they got a read on your signature. Now that I've seen your all faces, I could find you no matter where you go.
Well, that's not very assuring.
Okay,
It's not supposed to be. It's a warning. You should be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that ain't clear before.
Marquess Wolfgard, for all his many, many faults, believe me, I could go on for literal days, is an honorable man and would not have me make use of that ability. Because he's an idiot who believes in honor and the knight's code and chivalry and all that yuck.
human mages able to track signals? Like you just
No,
mentioned?
they cannot sense the tangle. Human mages are nothing more than parasites at best.
Can candlings?
Candlings? Same. Humans twisted by magic not their own.
They can't? Oh, they can sense?
They cannot sense the tangle. Only creatures as I,
Familiar.
and me and mine, will be able to sense it. Whatever they're calling us these days. The Oricars might be able to as well.
Ooh, we heard about those.
We did.
Yes,
Kinda.
though I suppose it is to your benefit that they are sealed off from Althara proper.
That's very foreboding, and I don't like it.
Yes,
Yeah.
monsters
I
made
don't
of
think I like
shadow
your
and death.
I don't like your attitude.
Laura, that would suit you really well. You should talk to them.
Yes, their main goal was to wipe out the entire population of Althara humans long ago. Oh, I wish they would
Maybe
come
not.
back.
Oh gosh.
So, you said you were familiar, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna lean back to
Under
Emma,
Marques's Wolfguard ward.
and I'm gonna lean
What
over
are
and
you
whisper.
originally?
Ah, a fae.
That's what I figured. Yeah. Now makes a lot more sense to your disdain.
Creatures of magic we are.
Yeah.
Is this like the Fae, like the stories from Earth where it's
I
like
don't know what you would be referring to.
makers
He's talking
of
about
mischief and you should never make a deal with that? Or is that a Fae? I'm gonna turn to Aron. Am I thinking of a Fae? Am I thinking, guys? That's a Fae? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wouldn't know to what you would be
It's
referring.
words. They can never actually lie, but they
Hold
do
up. Did we
They
give
can
it
lie
lie of
on
all
a
names?
mission.
Did we
They
give
can
it?
do lie of a mission.
Did we
You
give
can-
it all names?
I mean, you, Miss Fonteva,
Yes.
gave me your whole full name if you were worried about naming magic. It is not my speciality.
Oh,
Wait,
thank
wait.
God.
Does anyone have salt?
That would
I
do
do. I
literally
cook
nothing.
them.
What? I mean, unless you're going to put it on your food. I like salt on my food.
I'm gonna look at Aron. Aron, can you hand me salt?
Glowing salt
I need
I
salt.
took some
Somebody
salt.
hand me salt.
for seasoning.
I know.
Some salt.
I can make glowing salt. Would
Just
you
give
like
me
glowing
salt.
You know,
Okay,
my
I give him
friend,
some salt.
I don't think I gave you my entire name.
And
You
then
did. Adalaie Ponteva, unless you have
I
a
didn't
middle
give you my
name
middle
in
name.
there.
I didn't give you my middle name.
That is fair. Again, naming magic is not my specialty. I know quite literally nothing about it.
I look at him and then I drop the salt on the ground and I pour it out.
Why did you just wasted salt? Why did you do that?
What?
I mean, it was the Fae that had to count the grains of salt, right?
I do not have to. Why would I do that? That seems very idiotic.
I don't know. It was like your one weakness in the stories. Is
Oh, well, I guess I have no weaknesses then.
Oh god.
Oh.
If that was the one.
Maybe it was a circle of salt?
No,
That's
it was
demon.
not. That was demons.
That's snails. That's snails.
Snails.
Snails are demons.
Snails. You think snails are demons? That's the comparison you're drawing there.
No, apparently demons and snails have the same weaknesses.
Simon,
Demons and snails have the same weaknesses. Grains of salt. Therefore, snails are demons.
No, it's just they're both equal in power level.
you think demons are as powerless as snails?
No.
No, snails are as
Snails are
powerful
powerful
as demons.
But
Snails are powerful.
I
they
can't
feel
wait
bad
for
the
someone to
mortal
walk in on
plane
this
and act like-
conversation.
In any case, you all are so weird. It is amazingly entertaining.
Look who's talking.
You remind me of someone, in fact. You all do. How interesting. Your magic's quite familiar.
No, and that's
True.
I don't think I'm old enough to put a name to a face or a magical signature. Perhaps if you meet an older fae than I, you could inquire as to why your magic rings so familiar for me.
Well, it'd be the king, would it?
Have you heard the Greek?
King. Fae are ruled by nothing and no one, if you are referring to the Emperor of the Humans. Well,
Look, we have a council. It's not very much.
ugh, human councils are not much better. I can imagine you will fare rather poorly in your selection of a new leader.
What would you
Poor
have
child of the wind, put her bets on something and the prophecy turned against her.
Would you like to be nominated as one of the 26?
I do not think I would be viable, considering my soul is bound to Wulfgar's. Unless you are electing Wulfgar, of which I would be glad to serve as his aide and ever-dying counsel.
I'm gonna look at Ezekiel. Ezekiel, why don't you crown him your champion?
He's creepy.
I'm gonna give Ezekiel a high five. And then just stand back up straight and just try and not react.
Aw, look at you getting all the right impressions. Anyway, the reason I wanted to speak with you privately before Master Wulfgar and Mistress Lavinia step into the room, well, I wanted to see if you wanted some luck.
Luck.
What kind of luck?
It is my magic.
Nothing.
Every familiar fae has something they specialize in.
And what's the price of this
And
luck?
what would you gain from giving us luck?
A favor in the future.
No.
I ask that one of your
No.
children be fae in nature.
Oh,
Cannot be a familiar. They would not count as their own. But if you could find an unbound fae and make that one of your champions, I would be most delighted. And in return, I will grant you good luck for as long as you are in my range.
how far is your range?
Oh, well, carry the 10. Very far. I could reach you at the other end of the forest.
Sure. I mean, it'd only be fair to get a equal spread of champions.
Variety, yeah.
From different walks of life.
Sure. Keep in mind, though, if I find out that you don't, ever, by the end of the brightest night, that you have not chosen a Fae champion, you will be granted bad luck forevermore.
Ooh.
Deal done.
No. Okay.
Whatever. I
Actually-
cannot take on anything.
You all get a story tag. Lucky day 1. You can add a 1 to a roll at any time you are in range of mouse. I will let you know when you are out of range of mouse. But we will
Good to
come
know.
to a close.
Once a day, right?
Yes, we will come to a close as the door opens and Baroness Lavina Swand and Marquess Wulfgar Ward begin to make their entryway. And as this happens, we pull out to survey the rest of Althara and fly low to see just how your fellow Kingmakers are faring. Specifically, the group of Kai, Alyssa, Gabriel, Nina, and Lucille have arrived in the quaint town of Faversham, finding shelter in the home of a kindly lumberjack just outside of town. With the combination of Gabriel and Nina's, let's say, unique ability, found more discreet traveler's clothing, and today we found them around a table in the lumberjack's home, as the man has gone out for the day's work. Kingmakers, Nina says, the word falling awkwardly from her mouth. Alyssa nods furiously in response. It's why we're here, to pick someone that will help make this place center better place. Gabriel's eyes flick left and right. And does your power tell you anything else? She shrugs. My power tells me lots of things, including what I should and shouldn't share. I say we find our champions, which means traveling, and make sure they're up to snuff before time runs out. Time runs out? There's some sort of time limit to us being here? Lucille asked. To us picking a champion, Alyssa corrected. I don't know how long we have, but I do know it's not forever, so we can't afford to waste time hiding and stuff. Kai? She turns to tap her brother, sitting next to her. His eyes were glazed over, and he jumped when she touched him, turning back toward the conversation. Yeah, I agree with Alyssa here. At the very least, we should keep moving. And the others? Nina asked, mind dragged away to the thought of her friends. We'll meet them eventually, Alyssa said, smiling. We'll have to, but it's better to let fate decide the when and the where. Lucille snorted derisively at the same time Gabriel muttered, Right. Fate. They spent some time talking about their next move, but in the end, it was Nina who made a decision. She stood up and grabbed the lumberjack's roughly drawn map. We'll head toward the sea and walk along the coast for now. We need not bother others about transportation. Kai? He looked up at her. You can use your powers to help us travel above the road. I know how to hunt, so I can provide some of the food. We can attempt to stock up on supplies before we leave. I can do that, Gabriel said, fidgeting. Good, then we have a plan. I hate sitting around. Let's act on it. And with that, we end Kingmakers, Episode 2, Era. I have been your Master of Ceremonies, and we will see you all next time.